Alright, now we are gonna talk about the PvP build, the updated PvP build. In the first video I was using Blade Dance and Zephyr Surge, and I removed both of them. I replaced Blade Dance with Breaker, and now it gives us a shield plus it's a dash. We can move around with it. And I changed Zephyr Surge with Cascade. Now this gives us an extra stun, and it has a big ass AoE, so it is perfect. And the other skills are the same, but let's go over it again. This is the Flowing Strike, the most important skill for this build, Flowing Strike. First, we can dash out of any type of CCs, knockups, stuff like that. We are free. And it gives us 1.5 seconds immunity after we use Flowing Strike. And the best thing about this, if you have Eternal Gear, it has this FX, which is crazy. If you can find 4 of them, definitely use it. I mean, if you even find 1 or 2, you can still use them. Other than that, I have a stun on this Flowing Strike too. Some people don't use this, but I think this is one of the best essences. It's the chest essence, and we are gonna talk about the essences in a minute. And we talked about Cascade. And we have Skull, which makes us untargetable, which is pretty good. And I'm using Vintage for my primary attack. Before we move on to the set items and other stuff, let me show you something about this Cascade skill. So with our Flowing Strike and Breaker skills, we create Zephyrs. And if you have Zephyrs and then use Cascade, they all use Cascade. And now you have that big ass AoE, and it stuns people. Obviously it deals damage too. So you want to use Cascade after you use at least 1 or 2 Flowing Strike in a crowded areas like this, and everyone will be stunned. And then you can get out with Skull or another skill. And the good thing about Skull is, as you can see, let's say we have 2 Zephyrs, we dash like this, they follow us and they deal damage to the enemies in that path. That's why it is really good. Now for the set items, there is no need to debate this. 4-piece Gloomskite and 4-piece Mountebank. Doesn't matter how much resonance you have, just use this combination, you will be great. You are not gonna die easily, and you will have enough damage thanks to this critical hit chance and damage buff. And now let's check out the legendary items. First, for the helm, we have Strident Pedant. I don't know how to really pronounce it. And this is that Cascade skill. Cascade now causes you and your Zephyrs to release a crashing wave, damaging and stunning enemies while also causing them to take additional damage from your next attack. Yeah, that's the another thing. Damage dealt to stunned enemies removes the effect. And this is the most important Cascade skill we can use with this build. And by the way, I think this build is one of the best builds that you can use. For me, this is the best build. I don't know what you think, but I really like this build. So for the chest, we have Zephyr Guard. This is the stun for our Flowing Strike. Flowing Strike now conjures Zephyr that slashes and stuns enemies at a targeted location before you dash forward in a flourish of edge strikes. So yeah, that's the stun. And this is probably one of the most important essences that we can use as a Tempest. It is called Safe Borders, and it gives us that immunity. Flowing Strike can now be used while suffering from total loss of control and knockback effects, making you immune to their effects for 1.5 seconds. Which is perfect. So let's say you got stunned, freezed, feared, you can just use this skill and get out of that. And on top of it, you have 1.5 second immunity as well, which is probably one of the best essences in the whole game. And for the pants, we have Flaring Lighthouse. This is the shield essence for Breaker. Breaker now causes you to dash forward, damaging enemies and conjuring a Zephyr in your wake. Additionally, you gain an Absorb Shield. Absorb Shields are really important for this class. For the main ants, we have Harmonious Castle. Skull now makes you untargetable. This is the important part, untargetable, and causes you and your Zephyrs to dash forward, damaging enemies in your path. And for the other one, we have Fiend Feel. Vintage becomes empowered every 6 seconds, causing your next attack to unleash a piercing wind that slices through enemies, dealing damage and shattering their armor, causing them to take increased damage for 3 seconds. I am not saying percentages because I'm still at Mastery 2. When you reach Mastery 4, these percentages and damage numbers gonna go up. And the gameplay you are gonna see in this video is with Mastery level 2, so it is gonna be even better when I reach Mastery level 4. So for the offense, first I have no second chances. Vintage becomes empowered when you use a skill causing your next 2 primary attack to deal additional damage to nearby enemies. Nice, extra damage. We tried to use our primary attacks once in a while, like at least a couple of times on each enemy, to trigger our Reforge bonuses too. I'm gonna talk about Reforge bonuses in a minute. And for the other offense, we are using this one. It increases Zephyr damage basically. So, what about Reforge bonuses? Because that was all about legendary items and set items. I think it is pretty straightforward. So let's talk about Reforge bonuses. I think it is important. So there is 2 options. You can go with barrier bonuses. You can go 3-piece or 4-piece barrier plus duration of beneficial effects increased. Or you can go like this, like 3 pieces of vengeance, duration of beneficial effects increased, and block chance. I mean, you don't really have to sweat to get block chance, you can use whatever, but I really like block chance, that's why I keep it. So my Reforge bonuses looks like this, and like I said, you can go for 3 or 4-piece barrier instead of this, that works as well. And if you go vengeance, to trigger this bonus you have to use your primary attacks, that's why I said we are using our primary attacks once in a while on every single enemy to trigger this bonus to deal extra damage. And Reforge bonuses is like that. And for the Ancestral properties, if you have Ancestral property items, of course go with stun. And if you are using curse properties, and I think you should, I think you can use at least, 5, 6, how many do you have, it doesn't really matter. Go with tortured, because almost all of our skills are dash skills except Cascade. So with this, you can deal continual damage, plus you can immobilize the enemy. Even for a 1 second, it is important, it breaks the movement of the enemy, so it is good. So go for Tortured for your curse properties, and Ancestral property is gonna be the stun one. What else we can talk about? We can talk about the Paragon, right? For the Paragon, basically you want to activate everything, unlock everything, like this. And just come to the Brawler and activate these. Finishing Touch, Insanity, Defender of the Sanctuary, Heavy Armor, and Combat Expertise. This is our Paragon setup. Yes, this is for PvP, this is for this build. So, Paragon looks like this, quite simple. It is basically a mix of Executioner and Warden. We are getting Finishing Touch from Executioner and Insanity. Same again from Executioner. And the others from Warden. So you have to choose these. That's all. It is quite simple. If you have Awakened spots, make sure to awaken Helm and Shoulder Essences. That would be great for this setup. And basically that's all about this build. We talked about set items, Reforge bonuses, Ancestral properties, legendary items, and Paragon setup. If you have questions, let me know in the comment section. I will try to answer those. So thanks for tuning in, and I hope you enjoy the build. Now, okay, we covered that video. Thank you for listening to that.